I'm making this video today to help people understand why they would ever want to go vegan. I was a big meat eater in my life for over 30 years. I loved it. I had justified all the reasons I thought I needed it. And I even said the words, I could never go vegan. I believed that. But I was wrong because I didn't actually know the things I'm going to present here today. So please stick with me to the end. Let me know what you think. This is a huge source of contention, a huge source of debate. Definitely hard for a lot of people to listen to because it contradicts so much with their worldview. And I get that. I understand. It's okay. And you're a brave one if you can actually sit there and listen to things that contradict your worldview or your current understanding of things and challenge your ideas, because that's how we grow. That's how we learn new things and replace old paradigms that don't serve us with new ones. So let's get started. I think it's really important when we look at the whys to have two main pillars of our understanding. So the two main pillars I'm talking about are personal health and the animals. Now, there can be a third pillar, which I think would be great if you had another reason besides personal health and the animals to support your decision to stop eating all animal products. Now, that third decision might be the environment. Okay, it might be just philosophy. The philosophical perspective and logic and reason is so strong that that's the third thing holding it up. Maybe it's practical. Maybe that third pillar is, it's just easy and I feel amazing doing this. I feel great is good enough sometimes. And maybe that third pillar is spiritual. Maybe you have a spiritual or religious reason for abstaining from all animal products. But let's talk about the first two first. So, personal health. When I replaced animal products with fruit and vegetables, my asthma went away that I had for over 30 years. That was it was debilitating at times. It definitely restricted me from doing the things I loved at times. And I used my inhaler every day. So I was beholden to big pharma, to the chemical companies for creating a drug that I had to take to feel good. But I didn't know that I could actually feel good just by stopping eating high-fat, high-protein foods, especially animal products, and replacing them with fresh fruit and vegetables. So that's what I did. Now, here I am 5 years later, no asthma. My gut health improved tremendously. I used to be constipated. I used to get hemorrhoids. I used to have stomach aches and slow digestion. But now everything moves through so quickly and smoothly. And I don't even feel my digestion most of the time unless I eat a lot. It's peach season and there's tons of peaches over there. And, I can overeat, I admit. That's not really the point here. The point is when I switched out high-fat, high-protein animal foods like meat, eggs, and cheese, and I've replaced them with fruits and vegetables, the digestion just got better. The gut health is so much better. The bacteria in our gut want to live on fibers, plant fiber. They call that prebiotics. And plants are all cellulose, plus the water and the nutrients and the minerals and all the good stuff. It's a lot of fiber, and that's what we need for good gut health. So you'll see. If you go vegan and you go heavy raw, you're probably going to see your gut shrink. You're probably going to see swelling around the middle section go down. And I'll just show you how flat I did eat breakfast, so maybe it's not as flat as possible, but this is just me not working on my physique that much, really just eating foods that are natural, whole food, plant-based, heavy on the raw food. And I used to get bloating a lot. I could look pregnant. I'm a skinny guy, but I even would look in the mirror sometimes and it looked like I had this pregnant belly. But right now, perfectly flat, feeling good. Gut health improves drastically when you stop eating animal products. When you reduce the fat intake, your blood gets cleaner too, because fat makes your blood thick. and it can actually prevent and disrupt proper sugar absorption when there's too much fat in the blood. So your blood's going to get cleaner. You'll be able to absorb sugars better. You won't get the sugar spikes and crashes. That happens when there's a lot of fat in the diet. People demonize carbs. They say, oh, carbs are bad. But usually they're eating, what they mean is starches served with fat and refined sugar. So they're not talking about fruit. And whenever I say, well, are you talking about fruit? They're like, no, I mean refined sugar and pastries and things like that. And white flour, refined carbohydrates. Well, yeah, okay, so let's make a distinction, because I'm a carbaholic. I love carbs, but it's going to be in the form of fresh fruit for the most part. So my asthma went away when I stopped eating animals. My gut health improved. My blood feels cleaner, which makes my skin cleaner. My skin is much healthier. I used to get breakouts of various types when I was eating animal protein, and now I don't, and I get them less. So what else? Fruits and vegetables just have a minimal amount of protein, the amount that we actually need. So I want you to look up right now, how common is protein deficiency? You can ask Google, you can ask Grok, you can ask any AI you want. How common is protein deficiency? And they'll tell you that even among vegans, it's very rare. Protein deficiency is extremely rare. But it seems to be the first thing that people are concerned about when you tell them you're vegan, or especially raw vegan. Where do you get your protein? From fruits and vegetables, man. Fruits and veggies. Okay, so it's got protein, and then it even has fat. True story, there is fat content in a watermelon. There's fat content in lettuce. That's why they call it butter lettuce. There's great, delicious oils in greens like lettuce. So, personal health. I recommend checking out the book, The China Study. It's the largest study of nutrition ever done. They look at some of the biggest killers on the planet, which would be heart disease, diabetes, cancer, autoimmune disease. And they see the huge correlation between eating animal products and the prevalence of those diseases. Not just in westernized countries. People think, oh, it's just the seed oils in America. No. They did the study in China, in rural villages, isolated from lots of processed food. So even on whole food, if you can call animals whole food diets, the more vegetables and the less animals these people ate in the study, which was a massive study, by the way, the less deadly diseases they had. So we just got to understand the correlations here. Eat more animals, you get more sick. The China study proves that, or it demonstrates it pretty well and provides the evidence. I recommend checking it out. One last note on personal health. Humans, we don't really like chasing down pigs, cows, squirrels, birds. We don't really like the hunt. We're not predators. I can't believe that people still think that humans are apex predators. I get it, because we've imprisoned lots of animals that you could consider us to be some predatory species. But when you examine yourself and you look in the mirror and you ask yourself, am I a predator? You're going to go, heck no, unless you're psycho. But I don't have claws even to kill the animal with my bare hands. I don't have the teeth. These aren't canines, folks. I mean, they're called canines. You can call them whatever you want. But they're so dull and flat. So our physiology, our lack of claws, lack of fangs, our speed, we're not as fast as these animals either on foot. So we do need tools in order to capture and kill and hunt them. The biggest thing about the teeth, I want to say this, and our physiology, is we align with the frugivorous and the herbivorous animals. Most herbivores have teeth and jaws that move laterally, front to back, and up and down. Okay? Laterally, like grinding like this, front to back, and up and down. Carnivores, their jaws only really move in one direction, and it's up and down. It's a chomping, shearing motion, and those teeth are shearing. They're built to eat meat and smaller animals. We are not. We are built to eat plants. It's just a basic biological, physiological fact that you can observe it or you can ignore it. But when you observe it and you realize it and you go, yeah, these teeth are flat grinders that go side to side, and they're really meant for grinding up roughage. And you would probably never dream of sinking your teeth into a cow. You would maybe like to eat a steak, if that's your style, but what had to happen to that animal to get that piece of steak on your plate? Well, it had to be captured or live in captivity its whole life. It had to be murdered. And we're about to get into the animal rights pillar because we're still on personal health. But I do want to point to the fact that your intuition, your heart, and your mind will tell you, I don't want to murder an animal. I don't want to skin it, drain its blood. I mean, these things can be up to 1,000, 1,200 pounds too. So how are you even going to drain the blood? It's so messy. You got to skin the thing, and you got to butcher it into tiny pieces, and then you got to season it and cook it. Doesn't that seem very far removed from if you were a natural carnivore or a natural omnivore or a natural predator? You would just eat that animal as soon as it died, or probably while the heart was still beating. So just look at our personal physiology, and we are plant eaters, folks. So just accept that. Look more into it. I'll post the comparative physiology chart so you can take a deeper look at the differences between omnivores, carnivores, and herbivores and frugivores like us. So that is sort of the personal health pillar. That has to be there. Okay, there's a lot of vegans who do it just for the animals, but they don't eat healthy. And then they end up getting sick, and then they'll second guess their whole veganism part, and they'll go back to eating animals because they say, oh, it didn't work after a while, I got sick. Well, because you never focused on the personal health pillar. So please make personal health one gigantic pillar holding up your decision to stop eating animals. It will serve you good. Okay, the second pillar is the animals. And this brings up the whole problem of violence. And I know people, like I just was talking about, people like to think that we are some predator species, that we have this monopoly on violence, and that, well, maybe not monopoly because other animals exhibit that. Let me rephrase that. That we are able to treat animals a certain way because we get something out of it, because we're at the top of the food chain, or whatever way they choose to justify it. I don't agree. I think there's a problem with violence. I think there's a problem with if I see a squirrel and I capture it somehow and twist its neck off its head, that is fundamentally wrong. And if I did it in the middle of the street and started eating it, you would probably call me crazy. And everybody would think I was crazy because we know deep down that killing animals and eating them, you know, in the natural way that other animals do it is savage and, you know, ugly and bloody and messy and disgusting and violent. So the problem of violence, people, is if you don't want to do it to an animal, do you have the right to then pay someone else to do it? Now really think about this. If I don't have the right under natural law to take a wild horse, let's say, and just kill it, either for fun or for food, because that feels wrong, then do I have the right to pay someone else to do it? No. Just like I don't have the right to steal from a human or hurt and injure an innocent person, I don't have the right to pay someone else to do it. It doesn't separate me morally from that action because I'm the one causing it by paying for it. So I encourage you to watch Earthlings. Please, please, please watch Earthlings. This will really help it sink in as far as the fundamental ethical problem of raising animals in captivity, in terrible conditions, slaughtering them, and then eating them. So I don't like to share these images, and I don't really think I want to, but I may put up one or two images from the film that shows you the grim, dark reality of slaughterhouses. These people who work there too have higher rates of PTSD, depression, violent thoughts, domestic abuse, and that's not a coincidence. I mean, I feel like it's directly caused because of their occupation. They're exposed to violence all day, and they have to check their conscience at the door. Okay, they're taking orders and doing something that they probably don't want to do deep down because it's wrong and it feels wrong. So I got a question for you if you're still on the fence about eating animals. Which ones would you feel good about killing and which ones not? So would you kill a dog? Would you kill a cat? Would you kill a horse? Would you kill a gorilla? Would you kill a cow? Would you kill a chicken? How about a turkey? One of those beautiful wild turkeys, man. Those are big and vicious creatures too. Good luck. Would you kill a pig with your hands and tools? With a blade or with a bolt gun? Which ones would you feel good about killing and which ones not? Would you kill a lamb? This one is mind-blowing to me, how people actually pay and eat lambs. They're babies, folks. They're babies. There's no other way around it. Stop eating babies. So the things that go on in the slaughterhouses, debeaking, dehorning, cutting off tails, grinding up male chicks alive because they're not going to produce eggs, and then just the ruthless slaughtering, the slitting of the throats, the blood pouring onto the cold floor, the bolt gun going straight into the head. Sometimes they miss. Sometimes the bolt goes off, it makes the cow scream in agony because you just brain damaged it and fractured its skull, but you didn't kill it. So they're writhing in agony, and then you got to pin it down and do it again. So would this feel good to you? Would this feel morally okay to you to do that, to engage in this personally? Would you ever take your children's classroom on a field trip to a slaughterhouse? I bet you would take them to the apple orchard. I bet that would be really fun. And I bet children would be forever traumatized if you took them to the slaughterhouse and watched them observe and participate in how this quote-unquote food was made. Because I don't see animals as food anymore. I just don't. So I hope I got the message across about the animals and the problem of violence and how it's just plain wrong to kill an innocent sentient creature when they're not threatening your life. And you don't have to do it for your food. We just went over that. Nutritionally, personal health-wise, that's why you need both of these pillars. Nutrition, personal health. You will feel better if you stop eating animals and replace it with real living food. Not fake meat, not high-fat, fried vegan food. I mean fruits and vegetables, okay? Cooked if you like, but mostly raw because that's how most animals eat, and that's the food that tastes the best, to be honest with you. I just had white nectarines for breakfast. Mind-blowing. Way better than any pancakes you can imagine. I got melons and mame sapote and bananas and more peaches, plums. Just the fruits and vegetables, guys, are the way to go. But that's beside the point. We're just here to stop eating animals. You can actually replace them with whatever you want. But the personal health, the animal pillar, and then that third one, whatever that is for you. Is it the environment? Do you want to see the environment cleaner? Do you want to use less water in the world? Do you want to see less environmental destruction, less toxic runoff from slaughterhouses and factory farms? Then you need to make that as your third pillar holding up veganism. Is it the philosophy? Is it just logic and stepwise progression of reasoning? If it's not right for me to kill, why would it be okay for anyone else to kill and me pay for it? Yeah, just basic understanding of right and wrong and if-then patterns. The practical perspective could actually be a great pillar as your third pillar. And because if you try and go on fruits and vegetables for a week and you feel amazing, then maybe that's all you need to say, you know what, I feel super good. And it's so practical. Eating fruit is actually super easy. It's like the fast food of fast food. It's faster than waiting in line at McDonald's. You get your peach and you eat it. That's it. You pull it right off the tree, you can pick it up off the ground, You go right to the farmer's market, you turn the corner and eat it, and then eat a few of them. So it's the fastest food, it's super practical, and maybe that practicality is that third pillar. I would also like to propose another pillar, which is the spiritual. So one thing that unites all world religions based on their core commandments is compassion for all beings. Thou shalt not kill, right? The central commandment of the Hebrew Torah, the Muslim Quran, and the Christian Bible. Hinduism and yoga both teach ahimsa, which means do no harm or nonviolence. So all the yogis out there who support, animal farming, there's a fracture in your yogic philosophy, and you need to harmonize that. So I'm just letting you know. Buddhism teaches 5 main precepts, the first of which is refrain from killing any sentient being. That's the first one. And even atheists accept this golden rule of life, y'all. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It doesn't say other humans, it's just others. Okay, so would you want someone to enslave you, kill you, rip off your skin, and then eat you in a ritualistic manner? And yes, if you eat meat every day, it's a ritual. So don't contribute to ritualistic slaughter of animals. It's gross. So across the board, where spirituality and morals meet, you will always find compassion for other beings. Why don't most humans live up to these basic moral standards? It's because we've been programmed, we've been conditioned. And even if you just look at the Bible, I encourage you to read Genesis 1:29 and read it over and over and over again, and read the whole first chapter of Genesis, which is the first chapter of the entire Bible, and really think about what that means. Genesis 1:29, okay? All over the Bible, there's a lot of messaging, which we could debate that all day, and that's why I just kind of want to leave it there. I'm not going to get into Jesus and all that stuff, although I do think he was an animal liberationist. I mean, that's what we're told in the Gospels, that he flipped the tables on the people who were selling animals, and he told them to get out of the temple because they've turned his house of prayer into a den of murderers. So I just wanted to spend that time and talk about those 3 pillars: personal health, animal rights, and whatever that third one may be. For a while, I just had the 2, and then now, spiritually, I think I have that third pillar of saying, God would not want us to do this either. God does not want us to destroy his beautiful creation. Like I said, it'd be one thing if we needed it, if it was biologically necessary, but it's just not. It's just not. So I'll have some resources below. Check them out. Read more. And you don't have to believe me right off the bat if this is new for you, but I hope it planted a seed, because you can feel better and reduce your impact of violence on the world. You can do that through your food choices by saying no to the animal products, all of them. Okay, cheese, eggs, fish, meat, all of it. You don't need it. You really don't. I know you may think you do, but use your imagination and ask yourself, is there a possibility? Is there a combination of foods I'm just not finding yet? Do I need other things in life, not just food, to make me healthy, happy, and confident to not eat animals? It took a little bit for me to find that and sink in. But I found it, and I want you to as well. That's why I'm doing the 5-day vegan challenge, September 7th to the 11th. If this is something that interests you, please hit me up, and I will get you signed up for the school community. It is totally free, no money involved. I'm really just going to offer my guidance and a group support setting with other people who are on the same path, trying to do less violence in the world and be healthier and feel better. So, Radical Health Zine on Instagram, or The Fruit Companion on Instagram. You can find me there. You can also find me here at the School of Unlearning on YouTube, SethBalin.com. I have the Fruit Companion book. Links will be below, but that was it. I just really wanted to talk about the pillars supporting my decision to not eat animals, because I think that will help you be confident and sustainable and happy in doing this as well. So peace, and thank you for helping make the world a better place.